Cup final a couple of years ago. It was 0-0. And
I hope we see a couple of goals, whichever side. I mean, naturally, I want Liverpool to win, but I hope the side scores early and opens the game up, because the longer it goes 0-0, the more it's going to be tight, packed, and not a lot's going to be done. And if he scored, say, the first 10 minutes, whoever scored, at least it would have to bring the other side out to try and get in amongst them. And as I say, I mean, I want Liverpool to win very, very much. But I think it's going to be a cracker. I'm desperate for it to be a cracker. I think English football is desperate for it to be a cracker as well.
And Everton, of course, have this. I mean, the incentive is great anyway in the FA Cup final, but it's especially so this year, isn't it? Because they would rather like Liverpool not to accomplish that elusive
I think
double.
that fact, plus the fact that if they don't win today, then the cupboard's bare for them, so to speak, this year. And having won so many trophies over the last couple of years, Des, I know that they'll be going all out. I think that just might be the deciding factor today. The fact that, I know we're talking about Liverpool, they might be a bit more relaxed today because they've won the league, and they might be able to go out and play and express themselves. But I think that, the edge, the wanting to actually win it, physically go and grab it and get your hands on it, I think that just might be in Everton's favour today. And that
We
might
sat
just be
up
the
last
turning
night,
point.
weren't we?
I know.
We've been over it a million times, what can win it for Everton, what can win it for Liverpool. And it keeps boiling back to, he's saying Everton are desperate. Everton are desperate. I think
Extra
Liverpool...
time. Well, we just talked about earlier, all Kerry's hoping is it doesn't go to penalties this afternoon.
You could probably sign a couple of penalty takers from there.
I could do it. I think it's going to... I agree with the lads. Well, we're all hoping desperately that it's going to be... there's packed with talent, both teams. And they're not teams, as you said earlier, like that come from the second or the lower end where they're struggling and fighting like mad. They're accomplished. They know what they've got to do. And I think that they should just release themselves today and give it a fix for everyone.
They've been the best two sides. Liverpool have been the best English side for 20 years, without a shadow of doubt. And Everton, over the last 2 years, have come through and they've won, as Andy said, they've won trophy after trophy after trophy. And we've got our best two teams playing in the biggest occasion in the world, as far as football's concerned. As Terry said, everybody looks to the English Cup final because it's the masterpiece, it's the showpiece of everything. And it's got to be a cracker. I hope it's...
The trouble is, looking on the other side, we've said that so many years.
Right, yeah.
And what we've got to remember is, although we're saying, look, we've got the Reds and the Blues to get today, wouldn't it be great if we could say, let it go and let's have a feast of them? But at the end of the day, they both want to win. They're both going to be a little cagey early on. That's why it's important, a fairly early goal, to make one really go for it and the other one then might catch them on the break, and then it's going to open to a good game. But you never know. This is the beauty of it, and is to wait and see and just sit with our fingers crossed and hope it goes well.
The 2 games they've played this season, they've had goals in them. 3-2.
But they've not been cup finals.
No, but I'm saying the ability to score goals is there.
But the thing is, in that way, that we know, that's without doubt anyway, there's an ability to score goals. But if they lose, they can attack it in a league game and put it right the next week. They've got it here, they know it's a one-off, and they've got to sit there. And there's so many other reasons involved for wanting to win for both teams.
Goalkeepers win and lose matches at Wembley and in Wembley Cup finals, don't they? And we're talking about a young man who's inexperienced here, and we're talking about Grobbelaar, who was slated earlier on in the year by many people, wasn't he? But in the end, when you look at it, he's had a terrific season as it's turned.
I saw Bruce play a couple of times this year, and early doors he was making mistake after mistake, coming too far, coming too short, going over his head, and yet in the same games he was making saves that were incredible to us. Honest, I'm not joking you. He would get to goals, or he'd get to shots that Ray Clements never got to. And Ray was a great goalkeeper.
Just interrupting you for a second, the throng inside the stadium is as expected, wonderful scenes, but just take a look outside, and I'm told that there are thousands still outside.
I made hundreds of thousands today looking for tickets off of me earlier when I was...
The fella's not causing trouble again, is he? Al Garner.
They've come down from Merseyside just to sample the atmosphere and say, I suppose, that they were at Wembley anyway.
That's right. I think that in the World Cup final a couple of years ago they did that. People come down and sat outside. The transistors and the little portable TVs and all that. I was at Wembley. I wasn't inside, but I was outside. I think that's the type of people that the Scousers are, though. They're a breed apart when it comes to football.
We better say hello to them all out there if they're watching on their little television sets and hope they have a good day.
I think today no one's quite sure how... I don't think any of us are quite sure how Liverpool will play.
Well, shortly we'll be hearing from our match commentators Jimmy Hill and John Motson, but first it'll be Abide With Me.
There's a famous figure in Merseyside football history, Sir John Moores, wearing an Everton scarf, but as well as being the majority shareholder at Everton, he is also a major shareholder of Liverpool FC. Sir John is now 90 years old, but if you think he's the oldest man in the stadium, here's one who can beat him by just a year. Sir Stanley Rouse there, who's 91. And they are just two of the many people waiting for this cup final with great excitement. Young and old have been looking forward for so many years to the first ever Merseyside FA Cup final. And here it is. Fans standing close together, hopefully in harmony, as they usually are when these two neighbours meet. It's been estimated that the two clubs between them could have sold something like 500,000 tickets on Merseyside alone. So much interest has been generated by this unique event. Well, down there they haven't had a chance yet to take in quite the full extent of the atmosphere. It's certainly increased since the players were on the pitch before they got changed. What a long way this event could go to bury the painful memory of what happened in Brussels a year ago. The whole world will have their eyes fixed on the events at Wembley this afternoon. And just look at those without tickets, trying to find a way of getting in. I think he's made it. Well, those, the lucky, legitimate ticket holders. Allocation of nothing like enough for the two clubs, but that's always the case with the FA Cup final. And there's Howard Kendall, who's going to lead his side out for the FA Cup final for the third year running. That's not quite unique. Terry Neal did it with Arsenal. But what is unique is that Kenny Dalglish is the first player-manager to lead his team out in the FA Cup final at Wembley. The manager of the year 1985 on the far side, the manager of the year 1986 on the near side. Emlyn Hughes' assessment of the pedigree of the two clubs, absolutely spot on. Liverpool have won 30 prizes in the last 23 seasons, and Everton have won 5 major honours in the last 3. Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Kent. Suitably dressed in neutral green. Merseyside United hoping to make it a great day. Kevin Ratcliffe, who's got used to this by now, will introduce the Everton players first to Her Royal Highness. Gary Stevens, one of those due to join the England party as soon as possible. But Derek Mountfield will be delighted to be on the pitch after the late injury scare. Graham Sharp, who got the winner in the semi-final. Peter Reid waiting there, the only true Scouser among the 22 players starting the match. Mountfield was born on Merseyside, but the other side of the tunnel. Gary Lineker has been voted Player of the Year by just about everybody. Had a quite marvellous first season with Everton. 39 goals for them. Well, the player manager is the first to meet Her Royal Highness, but the captain of the team, technically, is Alan Hansen, standing next to him. Jan Molby, the Danish international. And the terraces echoing to the chants of Merseyside. And are you watching Manchester? It should be said once and for all that Liverpool, who are being introduced, being presented to Her Royal Highness now, have been over the last 23 years by far the most successful football club, not only in England, but arguably in the world. The achievements seem to follow one another like a procession. with me in the commentary box, Jimmy Hill. Your first impressions of the afternoon?
My first impression, John, not a football one. It's that the lady members of the royal family have a marvellous chance of upstaging the men in recent times, it seems, because there's such an opportunity for them to dress in a way that's startling and so attractive. I mean, there's not much scope for the men, is there, when you think about it on occasions like this? And she does look so charming and is extremely relaxed, as are both teams at the start of the game. There's not many signs of tension there while they were shaking hands.
Now, as the lads on the panel were saying, let's hope we get a good game, which they also pointed out might be aided and abetted by an early goal. Let's take a check on the team news. Derek Mountfield's presence after that injury scare makes him one of 6 players in this Everton side taking part in their 3rd successive FA Cup final. He's also one of only 2 Merseyside-born players, as I said, starting the match. Number 6, Peter Reid, the other one. But that's the team that Howard Kendall wanted to announce. Bobby Mims obviously continues in goal for the injured Neville Southall. Now, Liverpool, by contrast, have absolutely no FA Cup final experience among their 12, and they're setting some sort of cup final record by fielding a side without a single Englishman who can actually play for his country. Mark Lawrenson was born in Preston, but he's a Republic of Ireland international, and Gary Gillespie's stomach upset means that Lawrenson definitely plays alongside Hansen at the back, in the middle of the back 4, despite the number 2. Nicol, the number 4, plays right back. Midfield, Mulby and Kevin MacDonald, who didn't know he was in the side until they got to the stadium. Hasn't ever been to Wembley before. Well, I suppose the chief protagonists, Jimmy, if we're looking for potential match winners, would be, first of all, Gary Lineker.
Yes, if I'd drawn him in the sweep as the first goal scorer this afternoon, I'd feel pretty happy. He's, like all outstanding players, he has extra pace. I mean, it's the most obvious thing about him. He's a first-class athlete. But in addition to that, you look at those strong legs, he's quite remarkably strong when he turns with the ball, so that a player can get a tackle in, but may not necessarily get the ball off him. Beautifully built athlete with splendid heading ability. He can leap well, and he's got an eye for a cross. He's marvellous at getting on the end of crosses quicker than defenders. And talking about an athlete on the other side, Ian Rush, he'd never win a Mr. Universe competition, that's a certainty, but he's like a greyhound. He has lean, hungry, no spare flesh on him at all, and he's scored, of course, 30 goals in 4 out of the last 5 seasons for Liverpool.
The referee is Alan Robinson of Waterlooville in Hampshire. It's his last season, but it's his 7th time on duty here at Wembley. His 2 linesmen are Alan Gunn of Burgess Hill, the senior linesman, and Bob Hart of Darlington. Well, there'll be people watching down in Newcastle, New South Wales, where I think the time is around midnight. That's their local hero, Craig Johnston, multinational figure. And the Everton captain, Kevin Ratcliffe, scorer of a goal when these sides last met at Anfield, when Everton won 2-0 at the end of February, and that was the last match that Liverpool lost. Well, Jan Mulby, what a terrific season he's had, 21 goals. And the recent record of these 2 sides going into the match makes quite staggering reading. Everton beaten only twice in 29 league and cup matches. Liverpool have gone 17 games unbeaten. They've had 9 straight wins and only let in 1 goal in their last 10 major games. So Everton in blue get us started, playing from right to left. Steve Nicol for Liverpool. Johnston chasing against Ratcliffe. Comes back to Sheedy. It was Lawrenson, and there's an offside flag up already. to even up with Whelan. Reid.
Just to point there at the kick-off, John, they actually started with 2 Everton players in the Liverpool half of the field. The referee did a kind of dummy over blowing his whistle. That shouldn't be, but I suppose it's a detail that's not going to really worry us.
Well, somebody at home is bound to have spotted it, Jim. Came off Johnston. Now it's Sharp with Nicol. Now there might be a bit of a test for Mountfield in the early stages with this knee scare, but he coped extremely well there in his first serious challenge against Ian Rush. Free kick was given. Lineker hovering there, and the free kick given again. Graham Sharp was fouled. Now Everton have Kevin Sheedy as a man who can purvey the ball well on these free kicks. Mountfield is up.